Recognizes the presence of Senator Erwin Tulfo. Salamat, Senator. Gusto niyo po bang mag-opening statement dito? Please proceed.
Maikli lang, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, distinguished colleagues, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Una po, ako po ay nagpapasalamat kay Senadora Risa Ontiveros sa pagdinig ng mga mahalagang panukalang batas para mapatibay po ang ating healthcare system. In fact, tumatanda na po ang populasyon sa buong mundo at hindi rin naiba ang Pilipinas. In fact, according to World Health Organization, sa 2050, 80% na po of older people will be living in low and middle-income countries. Ayon po sa Commission on Population and Development, sa taong 2030 ay may tuturing ng aging population ng ating bansa. Naniniwala ang inyong lingkod na bawat senior citizens ay nararapat na mabigyan ng pangangalaga na kumikilala po sa kanilang dignidad at nagsusulong ng kanilang kapakanan. This representation, Madam Chair, filed Senate Bill number 596 for the Senior Citizen Specialty Center para po magkaroon tayo ng geriatric centers across the Philippines within DOH retained hospitals. In addition, the DOH shall adopt a comprehensive program designed to provide accessible healthcare services to indigent senior citizens. Together, we form a broader effort to uphold health, dignity, and justice for our senior citizens. I look forward to our discussions today and to working with you all in advancing these important measures. Maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat din, Senator Erwin. Magkatulad yung several ng mga bills tungkol sa Philippine Geriatric Centers, pati nating dalawa po na i-upgrade ito mula sa existing facilities. At meron din namang mga bills na may kinalaman sa pagtayo ng mga bagong pasilidad. So we will devote about 2/3 of our meeting today dito sa mga iba't ibang panukala natin para sa ating mga senior citizens. So salamat, Senator Erwin. So back to Valenzuela City Government. Ano naman po, batay sa mga karanasan nyo sa apat na kasong pinag-usapan kanina sa ACE Medical Center, ano naman po yung insights ninyo kung paano natin pwedeng i-improve yung ating batas?
Madam Chair, with your indulgence, kwento ko lang po sa inyo kung ano yung nangyari dun sa 4 cases namin. Around February 2024, meron pong lumapit sa City Social Welfare Office po namin, nangihingi po ng financial assistance. When she was interviewed by our social worker, she manifested distress and trauma. So the social worker, conducted interviews. Sinabi po niya, galing daw po siya sa ACE Hospital, tumakas daw po siya using the fire exit kasi 3 days na daw po siya nakadetain doon. So tinanong po namin siya, ang sabi niya namatay daw po yung asawa niya and may utang daw sila sa hospital, ayaw ilabas yung cadaver ng asawa niya. In exchange, kailangan nandoon siya as, well, hostage or security, whatever you may call it. So nilabas po yung cadaver, nandoon po siya for 3 days, hindi po siya binibigyan ng tubig, pagkain, nandoon lang po siya sa waiting area, may nakabantay na security guard sa kanya to ensure that she will not escape. On the 3rd day, hindi na po niya makayanan dahil nasa isip niya na nakalamay yung bangkay ng asawa niya habang siya nandun lang sa ospital. So tumakas po siya using the fire exit. Pumunta po siya sa City Hall, humingi po siya ng financial assistance. But when we knew about her story, kumuha na po agad kami ng mga CCTV footages sa evidence. Then, gumawa na po kami, gumawa po si Mayor Wes Gatchalian namin ng public hearing and media ano po, para po for other victims to come out. Yun nga po nangyari, may 3 pa po na lumabas. The second victim, way back 2017, nanganak po siya sa ACE Medical Center. Hindi po sapat ang pambayad niya sa ospital. Ang ginawa naman po, yung sanggol po mismo ang dinetain sa ospital. The newborn baby was detained in the hospital for 40 days, Your Honor. 40 days. Umabot po ng pagkakataon na nag-aambaga na lang po yung mga nurses doon para pambili ng gatas ng bata. The mother was even told na kung gusto mo mag-janitress ka na lang dito, yung sweldo mo ay yung pambabayad mo sa ospital. That was for 40 days, Your Honor. May hindi rin po binigyan ng birth certificate yung bata. The third victim that we interviewed, she was detained for 18 days. Hindi rin po sapat ang pambayad niya sa ospital, nandun lang po siya sa kwarto, hindi pinapalabas. The fourth victim was only for 5 hours kasi humingi na po siya ng police assistance kaya pinalabas na po siya agad. The lessons we learned here, Your Honor, we filed criminal cases for serious illegal detention for the 3 cases and slight illegal detention for the 4th case. We also filed the administrative complaint with the DOH and with the Commission on Human Rights. What we learned in these 4 cases are first, the national law, RA 9439, only extends to wards and charity beds. Second, it does not cover, the national law only covers the patients themselves, not the relatives, not the cadavers. As in the first case, ang didetain po dito is the wife of the deceased patient. Yung sa pangalawa naman po, yung sanggol naman. And hindi po nako-cover ang birth and death certificates. Kino-hostage po ang death and birth certificates para po security, in the form of security for payment. So yun po yung tatlong observations namin. Hindi only for public wards, hindi po extended ang coverage ng protection to the patient's representatives or patient's relatives. And third, hindi po covered ang birth and death certificates. So what we did in response to this information, the City Council of Valenzuela City enacted a city ordinance prohibiting the detention of patients, detention of cadavers, and non-issuance of birth and death certificates. This ordinance, city ordinance, was enacted May 2024 and became effective in July 2024, Your Honor. We met with the owners of the hospitals in Valenzuela City, explained to them the coverage of the city ordinance, and they understood it, Your Honor. So far, meron po kami natatanggap na cases of detention, but after sending them demand letters as required under our local ordinance, pinapalabas naman po sila. So in our experience, the city ordinance is an effective deterrence against detention of patients, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat, Councilor De La Cruz, and that's an incentive for us to pass the law para nationally pwedeng maging deterrence din yung ganitong batas sa ganyang mga practices, horrific practices, tulad ng naging positive effect, no, ng ordinance sa inyong syudad.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Senator Erwin.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I just have a quick question for the Department of Health. Do we have a representative from the Department of Health here? ASEC, do you have like emergency or hotline numbers so that these patients can call up? Like, dinidetain po kami dito, DOH, kasi wala kaming pambayad. Do you have such numbers po na posted po sa mga hospitals natin, whether private or public? Para dalawa po ang purpose noon. To inform the hospitals po na we have a law like this, na bawal po kayo detain ng mga tao, pasyente. Pangalawa, para may masumbungan talaga yung tao. Meron po ba ang inyong kagawaran na ganito po mga hotlines nationwide?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, we have what we call a subungan board. However, we are currently inundating several hospitals about this so that the public will be informed. I agree, Your Honor, that we need to inform the public about this, so that they can the horrific story that was said before this committee will not happen again, Your Honor.
Kasi Madam Chair, follow up na lang po. I'm sorry. With that po, pag tumawag yung tao sa inyong hotline, mabigyan din ng advice. Ba't wala po kayong pambayad? Punta po kayo sa SWAT dyan, punta po kayo sa DSWD, then you can get advice para kahit papano makapag-raise sila ng pera. Kung walang-wala talaga, DSWD, may maipip sila na mahihingan. Kahit papano, Madam Chair, may pambayad, di ba? May pang-down. Tapos gumawa na lang ng promissory note, babayaran po namin. Actually, Madam Chair, biktima po ako niyan eh. Dati pa po, nung ako'y reporter, kasi may nanganak po si Sir yan. Pagkatapos po, hindi nakapagbayad. Ako po yung garantor. Wala pang bayad, dinimanda po ako ng hospital. But anyway, ang punto ko lamang po dito, Madam Chair, Department of Health, ASEC, sana meron po tayong ganon para ma-advise din yung pasyente kung saan sila kukuha, kung saan sila lalapit, at para makontak po ninyong ospital, tulungan na ninyo yan na merong maipip naman na makuha, merong AX naman para makalabas na yan kasi labag po sa batas ito. Then you can advise these people, ASEC.
Yes, Yusek, Emmy, Liza.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Senator Tulfo. I would like to inform that with regards to the social services of the Department of Health, the MAIFI program, but this is only to DOH hospitals, we have a big signage. The MAIFIP is anytime assistance. We have a hotline number there that is being held by our medical assistance people in the Department of Health. So meron po tayong nakapost to all DOH hospitals po para po aware din po ang mga pasyente na meron pong pupuntahan sa department or may tatawagan po.
Kasi Madam Chair, ang alam ko yung ACE Hospital, tumatanggap po na MAIFIP po yun. At saka iba pa pong private hospitals. Even St. Luke's na ngayon na Madam Chair, tumatanggap na po ng MAIFIP. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Sen. Erwin. Salamat po. So at least nakikita rin po kung paano pwedeng i-close yung current gaps and possibly reflect in the law na yun na nga, yung MAIFIP, di tulad nung una, ay na-expand na rin pati sa mga private hospitals. And salamat din kay ASEC sa Kilabon for mentioning the sumbungan boards. Yun po yung isang mekanismong nilikha sa ilalim ng anti-hospital deposit law. Pero pati nung nakaraang hearing nitong komite, nababanggit na baka kailangan palawakin ang coverage ng sumbungan board para if all else fails, pwedeng magsumbong talaga yung pasyente o yung pamilya niya sa Department of Health for the proper corrective actions to be taken. Could I ask before turning to the patients' organizations, sino nga po dito yung taga PSA? Yes, sir. Mr. Cerezo, meron po bang data ang PSA kung ilan ba yung mga Pilipinong pasyente o mga more precisely, may statistics ba sa hospital admissions or incidents related sa hospital detention na due to unpaid bills?
Madam, good afternoon. Unfortunately, we do not have that kind of data. We only have the general population on the senior citizens. Those, I think, are administrative data that can best be provided by the hospitals and or the appropriate bureau of the DOH. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat, sir. So, even in terms of health status, may data ba ang PSA or wala rin po?
Unfortunately, wala rin po, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, sir. So we should begin following up this concern of mine, as you suggested, sa DOH, bukod sa mga individual hospitals or, for that matter, hospital associations. So, ASEC sa Kilabon, may database na po ba ang DOH regarding ganitong mga insidente, either ng hospital deposit or hospital detention violations?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor, we have data. We have a data, Your Honor, as to the number of clients assisted. For calendar year 2024, the FHSRB assisted 592 clients, and 25 of the 592 pertains to the request for cadaver release. And for calendar year 2025, January up to September, the Bureau already assisted 621 clients, and of 621, 33 pertains to cadaver request for release, Madam Chair.
Salamat, ASEC, for repeating those data. Please submit them also in writing to the committee. Pero syempre, yan yung mga data na na-capture ng department dun sa mga pamilyang nagkusa talaga na magreklamo. Probably wala pa dun yung proactively tinanong or na-capture halimbawa sa patient feedback sa mga ospital or na-capture ng department, hopefully through the better implementation not only of the anti-hospital deposit law pero itong pagpasa namin ng anti-hospital detention law, mas maging proactive both yung information at saka yun na nga, yung provision ng mga hotlines, yung sinabi ni Sen. Erwin at yung MAIFIP hotline din pala, and then that these be also deterrents, no, disincentives to violations of patients' rights.
Madam Chair, if you
Yes,
can I
Sen.
have
Erwin. Yes.
two quick question po for ASEC or for USEC, Melissa. Pag may mga ganito po kayo natatanggap na reklamo, ito po ba mga hospital, binibigyan nyo ng warning? Binibigyan nyo ba sila and informing them na labag sa batas ang ginagawa nila? Kasi paulit-ulit na lamang po, you said 500 something patients. I'm sure iba-ibang hospital, pero meron ba mga instances dyan, nakadalawa o nakatatlo ng sumbong sa inyo sa sa data na binigay ninyo? May mga ganun po bang instances?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, insofar as, okay, because Your Honor, the reason for this, there's a loophole, if I could say that, under the current law, RA 9439, because it says there that the provisions or protection of that law would not extend to patients who availed of private wards. So, Madam Chair, Your Honor, those numbers would likely work. We're sure that those pertains to people who availed of the private accommodation, Your Honor, because the law does not cover them. Nonetheless, Madam Chair, Your Honor, what we do as a practice, we send them letters, even if that particular individual availed of private accommodation. What we do in the Bureau is that we send them letters asking them to submit an explanation within 3 days as to why they should not be charged for violations of RA 9439 and RA 42226 and other relevant laws. And we are successful, in fact, Madam Chair, Your Honor, 100%, that when we write these hospitals, they comply and they accept the promissory note as a guarantee, and they release the patients, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Kasi Madam Chair, mukhang maganda itong ipinapanukala ninyo, increasing the penalties for detention of patients and cadavers in hospitals. Kasi parang yung una pong batas, parang wala hong pangil. Pangalawa, pag sa private, wala na, parang untouchable na yung hospital kasi they're not covered. Ang problem lang dito, Madam Chair, ay kulang po kasi yung mga free ward sa mga private hospitals, yun po, maging yung DOH hospitals po hindi sapat. Karamihan po ng mga Pilipino, hindi po makapagpagamot ng may bayad. Gusto po libre, kahit na may PhilHealth, hindi po sumasapat. So the only solution is siguro, taasan natin yung mga free ward natin, ganun din sa private hospitals natin, taasan yung free ward para kasi, Madam Chair, pag pumunta sa government hospital, sa isabi nyo na agad, sasabihin, ay puno na po kami, ay pay ward na lang. So no choice siya, pupunta siya sa pay ward, kung emergency na, lalo na sa mga private. This is dapat ito, Madam Chair, pati yung siguro sa private na rin, sama si ASEC, dahil sa loophole na ito, siguro we include na rin, pati yung sa, kasi pag emergency dapat titignan natin, di po ba? Kung si Serian lang, wala naman palang pambayad, pupunta pa sa private ward, hindi na dapat siya covered. Pero kung emergency, life and death, di kailangan siya tanggapin, the only bed na meron is a pay ward, siguro kailangan ng intindihin, Madam Chair.
Agree, Senator Sherwin. And in fact, yung anti-hospital deposit law really is supposed to cover lalo na yung mga emergency cases na hindi mapagkaitan ng emergency care yung pasyente dahil lang dedemandan pa siya ng deposit bago siya alagaan. But as we've seen sa implementation ng batas na ito, and ito nga yung nag-provide ng sumbungan board, nagpapakita siya ng further areas for amendment. At isa na nga po itong anti-hospital detention bills natin na sinimulan ng komentan ng ating mga resource persons kung papaano ma-improve also in the matter of the penalties.
Tama,
kapag
Madam
po
Chair.
may violations.
Kasi Madam Chair,
Yes,
yata
Senator
ngayon
Sherwin.
yata fine, dapat fine and imprisonment. Kasi mo fine or po yata fine or. Kailangan po siguro may fine na, may imprisonment pa para matibay-tibay, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Senator Sherwin. We will certainly consider that sa
Erwin
pag-file.
po.
Sorry, nadagdagan ng 2 letters. Naku, I apologize, Senator Erwin.
Alam ko, Madam Chair, kasi sobrang stress itong Senado ngayong linggo na ito. Very stressful po.
Salamat sa unawa, Senator Erwin. Okay. Thank you. Balikan ko po si Councilor De La Cruz. Sir, so observable din no na gumastos ng 4 million pesos yung ospital para ma-settle yung kaso. So halos katumbas ito ng multa no nung ating panukalang batas. So kaya naman pala. Pero bakit kailangan pang humantong sa in the earlier period sa hospital detention ng mga pasyente nila? So mari po bang tanungin paano nagkaroon ng settlement?
Well, Your Honor, aside from filing the criminal cases, administrative cases with DOH and the Commission on Human Rights, we also looked into their business permit compliances, yung building po mismo nila, kung may mga violations. So nagpatong-patong na po kasi yung violations ng ACE Hospital and the negative the backlash that they received from the public because this was made very, very much public. These cases were covered by the major news agencies and television and newspapers. So malaki na po ang impact sa kanila. And we also filed criminal cases against the responsible officers, the president, the owners. So malaki na po talaga ang damage sa kanila, reputational. And kaya po they just opted to compromise, Your Honor.
And anong naging papel ng LGU dun sa settlement?
First, Your Honor, we provided legal services. In Valenzuela City, we have a legal aid clinic that I head. We provide free legal services to indigents. So we provided them the lawyers. I myself, I appear for them in court and the fiscal's office, CHR and DOH. Second, we paid for their bills, Your Honor. All their hospital bills were shouldered by Senator Sherwin Gatchalian and the LGU. So we provided them. Our social workers also provided them with psychological treatments because of the trauma that they experienced. So, the DOH imposed fines against them. The DOH found them guilty of the administrative charges that we filed against them. So the pressure was all around, Your Honor. Public, the media, the DOH, CHR, LGU, and we threatened to close them down.
Pero paano exactly lumitaw yung option ng settlement? Kanina nung una kong tinanong parang may misteryo parang slight nagbuntong hininga kayo. I mean, was it an idea of the LGU? Was it offered by the hospital at winelcome ng patients at ng LGU? I mean, just in point
Yes,
of
Your
fact.
Honor. I serve as their lawyer in the 4 cases. The first, in one of the cases, because this was committed way back 2017, the court dismissed the case because of prescription. And the 3 other cases are still pending. May yung stressful na po kasi para dun sa complainants natin yung nangyayari because of the continuous na trial settings. And one of the cases was dismissed on the ground of prescription. So we opened the discussions for payment of damages, Your Honor.
Yung we is yung mga pasyente
LGU.
at kayo. LGU
Yes po.
open.
LGU,
Okay,
the patients, and me as their lawyer, Your Honor.
All right, so all together. And ito po'y paano to naaayon? Naaayon ba to sa local ordinance ng city na kontra sa hospital detention?
The fines, they were never charged the fines, Your Honor, because all cases were dismissed against them. This the damages paid for the families of the victims, Your Honor. Doon po lahat napunta.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Erwin.
Matanong ko lang si Councilor Walter, Honorable Walter. Sir, ba't po umabot ng ganun? Tama po ba ang pagkadinig ko, umabot ng 4 million? 4 million ang ano ho yun?
4 million, the victims received 1 million pesos each, Your Honor, in the form of compensation damages, Your Honor.
Pero magkano po ba ang dapat bayaran nila sa ospital lang?
The first victim, 500,000. Second victim, 556. Third victim, 275. Fourth victim, 777,000. All of which are covered, were paid for by the city government, Your Honor.
Madam Chair, kasi ang problema dito, merong ibang ospital na taking advantage. Ang ginagawa nila, pag hindi nakabayad, di susulat nga, Madam Chair, ng promissory note. Ang problema, pag nadidelay, nagkakaroon ng interest. Yun ho, may mga ospital ho akong alam dito sa Metro Manila na pinapatungan ay interest daw. Dapat po wala na hong interest. So dapat take note po, Department of Health, yung mga ganito po mga reklamo. Wala na ho pambayad, hihingan mo pa ng interest kasi 2-3 buwan. Ang masakla pa, Madam Chair, kumukuha pa yung ospital na yung para sa credit card, yung maniningil. Tatawagan ka na umaga, tanghali, gabi, magbayad ka na. Ha? Kung hindi, ididemanda ka namin. Tama po si Honorable De La Cruz na stressful po ito sa pasyente. Paano po kung na-confine siya dahil sa heart failure? Pagkatapos paglabas niya may mangungulit sa kanya every day, 3 times a day, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Erwin. Asek sa Kilabon, may na-monitor ba ang DOH na ganitong mga kaso na pati yung pending hospital bills ay pinapatawa ng interes at hinaharas pa yung pasyente at yung mga pamilya na magbayad?
So far, Your Honor, we do not have any case that has that the hospital imposed interest. As I've said, Your Honor, when we write these hospitals, they immediately comply and accept the promissory note. And upon verification with these patients, they did not relate to us that the hospitals impose interest. So we do not have that particular case, Your Honor. As of now.
But please take note, may anecdotal evidence na kayo mula sa hearing natin from Senator Erwin that there are hospitals doing these practices. Siguro, Sen. Erwin, pwede nating tignan dun sa pag-finalize nitong anti-hospital detention law at pati sa magiging IRRs niya on the part of the executive na aware sa ganitong mga practices at dapat ay mapigilan ito. At kung gagawin pa rin, ay maparusahan din.
Tama, Madam Chair. I think we received that a couple of years ago, Madam Chair, sa province naman, dito sa Luzon. So, nagulat nila sila at lumalaki, may interest daw. Madam Chair, if you would, I would just like to ask a quick question po sa ating Private Hospital Association if they're represented here.
Yes, they are, Senator Erwin. Attorney Subia.
Good afternoon po.
Yes, Madam Chair, Attorney Subia. Yung mga ospital po ninyo, pinapaalalahanan nyo na may batas po tayo na ganito. Ano po? Bagamat wala pang pangil masyado, hindi kagaya ng ipapasa natin dito yung kay Senadora Ontiveros. Pero alam naman ho na ospital ninyo, ng mga cashier ninyo, ng mga accounting ninyo na may batas, kailangan pakawalan yung pasyente at wag i-hold kung anong meron siya sa kamay niya at saka promissory note po pwede na po. Are they informed like lahat po ng members niyo nationwide?
Your Honors, way back in 2007, when Republic Act 9439 was passed into law, the private hospitals, together with the Philippine College of Hospital Administrators, one of their topics then was the anti-detention law. And I was one of the speakers in 2007 who reiterated to all private hospitals the significance of the law. So actually, most of the hospitals are observing this law. Kaya ang mga hospital merong social welfare department para yung mga indigent o kaya yung kapos sa budget ay tinuturuan, especially now, how they can avail of these guarantee letters from the DOH at sa mga DSWD